Everybody, and today we'll be doing the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is a way to check your work for problems that need to be factored. And this right here at the bottom is the quadratic formula equation, and this right here is the formula itself. So let's get right into it. For the first problem, we'll be doing x squared plus 6x plus 5 as the problem that we need to factor. And so basically we need to find, in our formula, it's x equals negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So to find this, we need to find what b, a, and c is. So a is going to be the first one. So a right here, it equals 1 since there's nothing in this area right here. B is going to equal 6 because 6 is in front of the coefficient x. And C is going to equal 5 because the last one and there's just 5. So we need to plug it in. So that would be x equals negative b would be negative 6 plus minus 6 squared is 36 minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 5, over 2a, which is 1. So after this, we just solve and simplify. We get x negative 6 plus minus square root of, that's 36 minus 20, which would be 16, over 2. And that means x equals negative 6 plus minus 4 over 2. And once we get here, we need to do negative 6 plus 4 over divided by 2, and negative 6 also minus 4 since it's plus minus. So for plus, when we add them together, we get negative 1. And when we subtract them, we get negative 5. And that's going to be our answer right now, for this problem. For our next problem, it's going to be x squared minus 8x plus 16. And the formula, we already know the formula, and a equals 1, b equals negative 8, because there's a negative right here, and c equals 16. So when we plug them in, we should get x equals positive 8. There's not supposed to be a minus at the bottom. It's positive 8 because negative and negative cancel out in the formula. Plus minus the square root of 8, which would be 64, minus 4 times 1, which is a, times c, which is 16, divided by 2a, which is 1. So when we simplify, it's going to be x equals 8 plus minus 64 minus 64 over 2, which means x equals 8 plus minus 0 over 2. So that basically means x is going to equal 4 no matter what, because 8 plus 0 equals 8, and divided by 2 is 4, and 8 minus 0 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. So x equals 4 would be our answer. Next problem, we're going to do x squared minus 2x minus 24. A equals 1, b equals negative 2, c equals negative 24. And when we plug these into our equation, we get x equals 2 plus minus negative 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4 times a times c, which is negative 24, divided by 2 times 1. And when we simplify, we get x equals 2 plus minus 4 plus, that would be 96 over 2. And we get x equals 2 plus minus 10 over 2, or 100 over 2. And x equals 2 plus minus 10 over 2. And once we get that, we add and subtract. So when we add, x equals 6, or when we subtract, x equals negative 4. And these would be our two answers that we get from this problem. Next problem is going to be 3x squared plus 6x plus 10. So on this one, a is going to have a number other than 1. B is going to be 6. And C is going to be 10. And if we plug in, we get x equals negative 6 plus minus 36 minus 4 times A, which is 3, times C, divided by 2 times A. When we factor, we get negative 6 plus minus 36 minus 120 divided by 6. So x equals negative 6 plus minus, and when we subtract, we get my negative 84 over 6. So since we have a negative right here, we use something called I, which is equal to the square root of negative 1. So in this problem, we would do x equals negative 6 plus minus I square root 84 divided by 6. And then after this, we would just cancel these two out. So x equals negative 1 plus I square root 84 as our final answer right here. Next problem, we are going to do 10x squared minus 9x plus 6. A equals 10, B equals negative 9, C equals 6. So x equals positive 9 square root 81 minus 4 times 10, which is A, times 6, which is C, over 2 times 10. When we do this, we get x equals 9 plus minus 81 minus, that would be 240. And 81 minus 240 is going to be negative 159. So x equals 9 plus minus negative 159 over 20. And x equals 9 plus minus I 159 over 20. And that will be our final answer, since we can't factor anymore. We can't do any more factoring. That was the last problem, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and so you don't miss out on another video. Bye.